time. Yeah, we are. What's going on, folks? Happy Wednesday. I'm Manny Vitale, host of My Fight Our War, and Manny Vitale's Wolfpack. And I'm still sweating. It was so freaking hot the last couple days. For those of you who don't know, I'm in Detroit, Michigan. Detroit metropolitan area of Michigan. In the last couple days, it's been 90, or it's been upper 80s, 90, but with the heat index, it's been like 106. Hot, humid, sticky. Blah. And then then yesterday I got to do my Dorothy imitation, and we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. This shit started, this storm. So hopefully you guys, wherever you're at, are coping okay. And for everybody in Michigan or wherever with the storms, if you don't have power, God bless you, man. Hopefully there's, injuries and stuff like that, or didn't hear of any, but God bless you guys. And we'll go from there. But we just got, when I say we just got home from work, that's because I did a while ago. And my next guest, a very special guest is coming on. Just got home too, and that's because we work together at Wolverine Harley Davidson. And that is Doc. Doc is the assistant sales manager at Wolverine Harley Davidson, and I am going to bring Doc on now, and we are going to shoot the shit and have a great time. Let's see, where's that little freaking arrow? There it is, and there's Doc. How you doing, brother?
Good.
How you doing? I'm good, man. So you made it home okay, and just telling everyone, it's like, yeah, we just got home.
All hour and 20 minutes of the drive. Yes, sir.
Just about to say that, when you talk about dedication and stuff, yeah, you can talk shit, talk a good game. But like, for instance, me, before I moved, I was about not even 10 minutes away from work. And then I moved, and now I have to drive almost 20 minutes. So I don't know if you know what that's like. I know that you have a little bit of a drive, but tell everyone how far you live and how far your drive is every day to and home.
Well, so the dealership is in Clinton Township, Michigan, which for those of you that are familiar with Michigan, we point to our hand. Clinton Township is down yonder, and I live up here. I'm in Sandusky, Michigan, up in what we call the Thumb. It's about 60 miles each way, but it's a pretty easy drive. It's all side streets, all back roads.
But what is it? Hour and
Great Michigan highways.
What, hour and a half?
Hour and 15.
Every day. So
hour and 5 if I'm on the bike.
Probably less than that. I mean, come on, man. I've seen your bike. I've seen your bike at a glance. I hear it well before I see it. Well, we'll get into his bike. I still remember that time. I'm in the bay, and all of a sudden I hear your whoop, whoop, whoop. And I had these customers back there. They're like, man, that person, good thing they made it here, because I think their bike's gonna die. I'm like, no. I go, it's angry because it's going so slow. But man, I appreciate. I definitely appreciate you coming on, man. I know.
Thanks for having me, brother. I'm really excited. This will be a lot of fun.
Well, it's just the beginning. As you know, been doing a lot of these little videos and stuff, trying to, get the word out there about the awesome place where we work and this whole family atmosphere with all of us at Wolverine, and you now the assistant manager. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm incredibly blessed. I've had a lot of really good mentors. So there's 2 assistant managers. It's myself and Dan Harrell. And we head up the product specialists in the dealership that handle, we call them fit specialists, the folks that make sure that customers get fit to the right motorcycle. And then we have the really fun job of doing numbers, which
and that's
I haven't had to take my shoes off yet, but it's not going to be long.
Well, that's when I was given a rundown between, like, with Shaggy and you and the rest of all of this. All the sales staff are just second to none, man. Hell, you're front line, man. When I've had people say, well, man, it's a dealership. We can go to any Harley dealership and buy a bike. Yeah, you can. You can go in there and get swarmed like piranhas, and then you can get some shit thrown at you that, just to make a bigger sale that's not the best fit for you, or you can come to us and have people like you really care about it and safety first and all that. But yeah, man, you guys do such an incredible job, man. And
No.
But yeah, it's just how long you been there now?
So I started in April of 23 as a fit specialist. So I've been there, oh goodness, coming up on a year and a half, thereabouts.
Yeah, and I tell you, when I started, well, it's just been over a year. As far as days on, as you know, I've have unfortunately had to miss because of some surgeries. So when it comes to like active duty days on, yeah, just a couple. And I'm so grateful for everybody, for George and for Dave and Mark and Derek, and everybody there for putting up with it and giving me a chance to come back, means a lot. So, I mean, I try to give my best there because, it really is a special place, man. And like I said, with the stuff you do, when we get people that come in there, they're asking about bikes and stuff. And, they're like, well, is it really that big of a deal? Their sales, it's just a bike. There's so much that goes into it. But I mean, I've had people ask me, a first time rider, I was told that, I was told I have to start with a Sportster. And it's like, no. So that's why we leave it up to you guys, man. And what do you like when you get someone who's a first time rider, rider, buying their first bike, and they come in, and let's say you get the ones who they see a bike, like you get some 100-pound dude that comes in, he wants this huge Ultra, because his buddy told him to get one. What do you as far as listening to them, what do you do to fit them into the proper bike?
Sure. So you brought up two very key points. And the first that I'm going to point out is you said, my buddy said that I should buy this. And that works in either direction. I mean, there's a lot of folks that come in, especially women. And we pride ourselves in being a place where, women can come in and they can feel just as special as everybody else as they should be. And they're tended to the same and treated no different, and given the same care and attention. But a lot of folks, especially women, when they come in, they say, well, my boyfriend said, my dad said, so-and-so said that I need to start on a Sportster, or I need to start on a Nightster 975 or whatever, because it's a small bike. It is a girl's bike, as it were. And that's simply not the case. We really try to fit the bike to the person, not the other way around, or vice versa. We try and fit the person to the motorcycle rather than try and make a square peg fit in a round hole. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Harley patented what is known as the rider triangle. And the rider triangle is the relationship between your hands, your hips, and your feet when you're sitting on the motorcycle, because those are your contact points. Your butt touches the seat, your hands touch the hand controls, your feet touch the feet controls. And where that is all positioned dictates how comfortable you're going to be on the bike. And there's an awful lot of folks that come in. There's a lot of guys that come in that are, I'm 6'2" on a big hair day. And they come in and they say, everybody said that I need to be on a Sportster. And they look like a monkey riding a unicycle when they sit on a Sportster.
Yeah.
It just, you have to go in. I tell every new rider, come in, sit on every single bike in the showroom. Start at the smallest, work your way up to the biggest, and see what fits. Circling back to what you said about my friend said, I think every salesperson in the Harley industry has had a customer come in with their buddy, whether it's their first bike, their second bike, their third bike, what have you, and their buddy's chirping in their ear the whole time, telling them, "Oh, you don't want that bike. That you don't want that bike because X, Y, and Z. You want this bike. You want this one." And it's great to have friends' input. It's great to have friends that are seasoned riders that you feel comfortable with and feel comfortable with them pointing you in the right direction. But you have to ride the motorcycle, not them. So that being said, it's super important to make sure you're on a bike that you are comfortable with, both in size and how you fit on the physical motorcycle when you're sitting on it, because the more comfortable you are, especially as a beginner, the more often you're going to ride. And the more often you ride, the more competent and safe of a rider you're going to be. And if you're already starting at a bad baseline with a bike that you're not comfortable riding, you're not going to gain that experience. And it may taint your opinion of riding forever. You may get on a bad first bike and decide riding's not for you when in all reality, you were just on the wrong motorcycle. So I know at Wolverine, at least for me in particular, I am always so glad to work with first-time riders because I take a lot of pride in fitting them to the correct motorcycle. And not every dealership's the same, but I know for us, our fit specialists, we are a commission-based team, but it's a flat rate. So whether you buy a $50,000 CVO or a $5,000 used Sportster, we get paid the same. Doesn't matter. So that really cultivates an experience of getting you on the right bike, not just the bike that makes us the most money. You know what I mean?
That's the thing.
One of the things that I've really enjoyed.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Doc. And I was telling people that, and I definitely know my role in my place, man. When it comes to, then they'll ask me, well, what do you think? What I think is you need to talk to these ones who are the specialists, and they're like, well, I look good. My bikes, I look good on this bike. It doesn't matter how you look. Like I said, it's safety first. And sometimes when you hear that, people get turned off. But it's like, you're on a bike, dude. It's going to be a great time, but safety's so important. And I've had other people say they went to other dealerships and they felt almost kind of pressured to go towards the higher end of sale. Because of course, more commission, or whatever for the sales if you're buying this bike or whatever the case is. So it's like, no, man, that's not what you're going to get at Wolverine. And you just nailed it. Doing these to make sure you're fitting properly, is so important. Yeah, you want to look good and all that, but safety's first, man. And, you nailed it with all that. So once you get them into that, what else do they look for? What else do you do to kind of, see if it's like something they're going to be just hopping around to the bars or restaurants or so you got to get all their input. You're like a psychologist, man. You got to get in their head to see how often and all that. So what else do you do to decide if you're going to go from like a sports type bike or into like a cruiser?
Sure. It's all in sales. It's very much finding a solution to a problem. And problem is a very relative term, but it's what your use case is. If you're a guy that, you put 2,000 miles a year on your bike, you do day trips, you don't ride two up, meaning you don't have somebody on the back with you. You're not worried about carrying luggage, etc. I'm probably not going to point you towards an ultra limited. It's probably not what you need. You know what I mean? And vice versa. If you're somebody that comes in, if you come in with your wife and say, my wife is always on the back with me, she always brings way too much stuff. She packs for a week when we're only going to be gone for a day. I'm probably not going to put you on a breakout. I'm using those as loose examples, but it's fitting, fitting the bike person and the use case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the thing is too, man. And that's like I've told a lot of people too. I said, there's a lot to it. There's, the style and all that, but first and foremost is safety and all that too. But, I've been up there hearing you guys talk to the customers, and it's just, I learn every day. I don't do what you guys do, but just hearing, you're getting into their heads like, okay, how often do you, like you just said, how often do you ride and this, and then riding conditions, how far, just everything, day trips or weekend trips and stuff like that. It's just, and I've said many times too, when people come in and they're like, man, you talk, you work there. Of course you're going to say this. And I've had the pleasure of being part of Harley, part of Wolverine Harley since day one. Was it 22 years now? Or when they opened day one, me and all my guys went there and became the first Hog chapter members, and been there ever since. And then, as I purchased the 24 Street Glide, beautiful bike. And it was so funny. I got my job by coming in there and everyone knew me. So I knew of the reputation, the quality of service as a customer. And now working there, I see the flip side. So now it's like, listen, I see both sides of it. And when I say you're going to walk in a customer, and it's a little catchphrase, but you're going to leave family. And there's that follow-up. And it's not just, once the sale and it's signed, that's it. there's, I mean, hell, you go have customers that you see all the time that'll just come in, not even to buy anything. They're out riding. It's like hanging out at the bar. I many times come in just to look around and just to talk to you guys. It's that family atmosphere.
Well, and this all sounds very rehearsed, you guys that are listening. I promise it's not. This is all extremely legitimate.
And the thing is,
I know the majority of us that work there, there's at least, I can think of 5 people right off the top of my head that came in there as a customer, myself included, and enjoyed the experience so much that we were like, oh my gosh, we have to work here. Like, this is a place that operates with integrity and appreciation, and we have it on our trifold. And George preaches it every single day. George is our owner operator, but he preaches it every day. We're expected to treat every customer and each other that way. And, it's like any workplace, we have our hiccups, but I think for the most part, we do a really nice job of doing that and passing that on to the customer. And that's part of what I enjoy so much about it. There's not too many sales positions where you can go home and sleep well at night a lot of the time, because you feel like you're pushed to strong arm somebody into doing something that they necessarily don't want to do, or you're, again, trying to fit a round peg in a square hole. And as a salesperson, we're extremely blessed to really not have to do that. We're given the freedom to really help the customer solve a problem and help them get the right fit, not just stack our pocketbook. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the thing is with George, like you said, George W. as the owner, man, you talk about, it's not production line sales. Let's get them in, get them out, get them in, get them out. If anything, it's just the opposite. Listen, we're going to be there. I mean, the policy is, man, we open at 9 or open at, the sale or the showroom, 10 o'clock. If they're out there and you see them before that, you're opening the door, you're letting them in. Why would you have, just like family is, we had at our meeting, would you keep your family sitting outside? Well, then it was like, well, some
depends on the family.
I would, see ya, sucker. No, that's not the number one sign. No, but and that's just it. And you know what? You're right too, because people are like, this is such BS. They work together. They talked about this all week, and now they're going to throw this BS. We did. I'm in the back. I'm in service and in the bay and detailing and all that. Of course, Doc's up front in sales. And I just said, hey, man, you want to come on? Yeah. Okay. And that was it. There was no show prep. There was no, okay, let's talk about this and let's go into here to here to here. Because I don't do that with any of my shows, man.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's like,
my notes.
Well, no, Doc. I said that we were going to discuss. Dave Nagy is the greatest service manager ever, and Mark is even better. Wait a minute. No, man, there was another. And but the thing is, I don't have to do that, because when you're talking from the heart, man, I've never used a script. When I go through and I'm talking about Wolverine, I mean, I was just rattling stuff off before me and you did this. Obviously, it was like, listen, you're going to come in, with Shaggy and all the guys from sales, Matt and everyone over at parts, Dave and Mark and everyone in service with Jesse and Jeff and Dan Mays and everyone in the back, and Derek and everyone in the bay, and Alyssa and everyone over in apparel, and then you got Ben and Mario and finance. It's just easy because these people mean a lot to you, and it's just their jobs. I mean, it's not just a job; they take it very seriously, and it's more to them and more to all of us. And it's just a cool atmosphere, and it's not like you said. You're not going to for the customers to come in and get strong armed to, you're going to be better on this bike. Well, it looks kind of big. Don't worry about it. Wear taller boots, just whatever. But, just, it's so cool to be able to have some time to come out and just see other people. Like when I go, obviously I can get back in service, and, our guys, our mechanics, man, all the way around are just freaking incredible. I mean, cool ass people, but talking to them about their knowledge into these bikes. My knowledge is, this pen has more knowledge as far as me when it comes to bikes. That's why I don't work on them. But and then you guys with the sales, Mario and Ben, man, with the financing, and just everybody, you talk about George putting the right fit, this round peg, a square hole. Yeah. And it's just so true. And like with you, with your position, you put people where they're going to excel. And, so it's just, it's a great place, man. And shit, I mean, with your, and then we have the pleasure of being able to have our babies with us. And, with everything you're talking about with bikes, man, I mean, with talking about, fitting the bike to the person, I think it's pretty safe to say that if you're a first-time rider and never even sat on a bike, you wouldn't suggest them getting on your bike.
No.
Yeah, no, because it's got a little bit of power, and it would launch them into next Thursday. And but that's the cool thing with you guys, man, because when they come in, they're going to be with this deer in headlight look. Like, what do you want? I don't know. I mean, they don't know because they've never ridden. But by you talking to them and all that and fitting them into the right bike, the right, the amount of power and all that stuff, it's just like I said, it's just this whole family atmosphere. And like I said before, you're going to walk in a customer, you're going to leave family. It's not just a catchphrase. I mean, it's true.
Right.
But I mean,
in the adverse of what you were saying about going too big on the motorcycle, I know my product specialists do the same, but I've always tried to fit customers to a bike you can grow with rather than grow out of. Reason being, especially most folks that come into the dealership, they're financing. A lot of folks have zero money down, especially when they're buying their first bike. And if you buy the wrong bike and you figure that out pretty quickly, you can put yourself in a bit of a pickle when you come back to trade it in. So I always try to find a bike that you're at least going to hold on to for a season or two, and not put you on something that you're going to ride for 3 or 4 months, put 300 miles on it and go, oh my God, I need something bigger. I need something faster. I need X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? And you get the vibe from that.
Well, and, just the communication and talking to them, just in fact, we had Dave Letterfly pinstriping, and I was talking to him, and I was doing a little interview with him while he was working on a bike. Man, he was just pinstriping away, and I was just like, he was just this art, and he was just like, while he's talking, he's like, oh yeah, and he's doing this beautiful artwork on this bike, and he said, yeah, the person said that they wanted this. Well, I'm looking, he actually had a picture of the thing that the person wanted. And as I'm looking at it, I'm like, there's a lot more there than this. And he goes, well, yeah, but as an artist, you see more and you get to hear what the person wants. They tell you, I want this. But then he listens to what they're saying and he can add into that experience. So now he's got, their idea into the pinstriping, and by hearing them, he makes that sucker come alive by their thoughts and emotions. And I go, Dave, man, you're kind of like a psychologist. You're taking what their thoughts are and making it physical and putting it on. I mean, you're taking their thoughts and you're making it reality. And the thing is, you guys are doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing, how, their thoughts and all that, and you're making it a reality.
We certainly try. That's the other thing that's so cool about Harley Davidson. You're talking about little artistic bits here and there and making the bike fit you both aesthetically and physically. There's so much in the aftermarket to make virtually any bike fit any person. You can put a big 6'2" guy like me on a Sportster if you want, with forward controls, a little taller handlebars, different seat, so on and so forth, and make a fit. And vice versa. I've seen my wife, who's about 5'5", 5'6", she can stand up a big touring bike. But if she were going to own one, she would probably lower it a little bit and probably get a seat that fit her and a bar setup that fit her. And we're incredibly fortunate at Wolverine to have a very talented parts counter and a very talented parts director in Matt Verstrat, who's, my God, this dude, I listened to him at the counter. Somebody rattled off their VIN number. And he's looking at the VIN number and he goes, all right, it's a white 1994, blah, 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 blah. Has this motor. Okay, so you need this gasket. Gets in the book. all right, I got it in the back. Give me just a second. And it was the craziest interaction I've ever seen. The dude is an encyclopedia.
It's great. And that's just it too. And all of them, you know, Tom, everyone back there, Travis and all that. I'm sitting there and same thing. You know, like I said, plus I'm not, you know, a gearhead. I don't wrench, I don't do anything, but going back there, and it just shows the detail that each person that George put in these positions are there for a reason. And you know, just the things that they hear, just like you're talking about parts and accessories. You know, you could buy this bike, and doesn't mean it's going to stay that bike. You know, as your bike, you know, it came with certain power, and it came with certain cosmetic things. And I've had people many times say, well, you know what, I don't need all this extra stuff. I don't need the cosmetic stuff. I don't need the speed. I don't need that. I see the same person a year later, and it sounds like your bike, you know, and it's just like, you know, they start to feel more comfortable, and you know, they're more confident in their riding skills. And so that has to go back to growing into the bike. So if you got someone you see and you hear them, it's like, well, I'm getting a little more aggressive instead of doing this. You could put them on a bike that with parts and accessories with Matt and everybody back there, them talking to their ideas. Hey, we got this for you. You want to go a little faster? We got this. A little louder? We got that. And it's like putting that puzzle together.
Absolutely. And I try, even though I'm in sales, and I know some of the other guys do too, sometimes a new bike isn't always the solution. And we try our best as salespeople to recognize that. It's not, you know, oh, I need a bike with a tour pack because my Street Glide doesn't have one. I need to buy an Ultra Limited. Well, is your Street Glide paid off? Your Street Glide's paid off. So you could take out a $30,000 loan on a new bike, or you could buy a $3,000 tour pack and put it on your existing bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we try to look at all pieces of the puzzle. Sometimes people just want a new bike. They just want new things. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And of course, we're here to serve that. But I think at Wolverine, we do a really nice job of helping everybody in every scenario. Folks up at the parts counter are wizards. Tom's been there for a long time and is very knowledgeable. Little Mary's been killing it up there. She's learning a ton. She's getting super smooth.
We were sitting there at the bed
every single day. She's walking around sitting on bikes.
Oh, when she first started, she was back there, so you could see her. She's like, I'm so nervous. And now the other day we were sitting there. I think it was during the event, during last Saturday's event. We're sitting there in the bay. We're trying to get things going. Look over, because little Mary goes zipping down with these customers, parts in hand, in the back where we were with the out there showing her on the bike what to do. I'm like, look at her, man. So Mary out there wheeling and dealing. And that's just it, man. It's just it's such a cool, you know, fit. And so you got, like you said, just because this bike starts like this doesn't mean it's going to stay like that. And just like with my bike, when I got mine, I was used to my 94 Fat Boy with thunder headers and that motor, just the way it sounded. And when I got on that 24 Street Glide and I started, it was just like, the hell is this? Is it on? I mean, it was just like, and next thing you know, I came back. I mean, literally, it was like I rode for an hour after I got it, came back, and this is before I was working there. And I'm like, Dave,
I remember this whole interaction because I had just started. I remember all of this.
And next thing you know, it's like, this isn't going to work. And then went into the Chrome Works, and then from that, Dan, our awesome foreman in the back, he's got the same bike. So me and him. Well, long story short, there too. Here, this is all about the bike. Fast forward another couple of weeks. Next, you know, I bring it in for service. That day when it was done, I walk up to get my paperwork for the bike being done at service. And I also had an application joking around about working there, filled it out, left with the bike and the application and a job. So it was so cool, man. But just like you said, a lot of people who would come in there, that's a good day. And but you know but then it went from the ride heart to the headers. You know, Dan, I told Dan, I'm like, you didn't do anything more to your bike, did you? It's like, you know, like a little mini me running around. What you do? You know, I was like, I don't need that. Yes, I do. But
that's what's so cool when you immerse yourself in the Harley culture is you see, especially if you go to bike nights or you hang out at the dealership or whatever, you see other bikes very similar to yours with different things done that you didn't even know you liked until you saw it or you heard it or you rode it. And then you're like, oh, I got to have that. That's what I want. That bike sounds like that's the whole reason I ended up putting cam in my bike. I heard a bike that was cammed out because I was always of the opinion, because my bike's a 2023 Road Glide standard with the 107. I call it the broke boy Road Glide. Because it's not, it was the cheap one.
Was keyword.
Well, so they all sound like pussycats when they come off the floor, you know. So it's stepwise. You start with slip-ons, then you end up doing the header. Then everybody who comes off of a twin cam always says that the Milwaukee 8s just don't sound the same. They don't have the same. They don't sound like the Evos did. They don't sound like the twin cams do. And a lot of that is because of the head design. Saying goes, an engine that breathes well often doesn't sound all that good, and an engine that is having trouble breathing tends to sound a lot better. So it's like, the Evos and the twin cams were so choked up and they were so inefficient. Well, because it sounds awesome. But Milwaukee 8s make power so efficiently that you don't get that sound. They're very smooth. They're counterbalanced, rubber mounted, etc. So you don't have the shake as much. And then I heard a cammed one, and I heard a big board kit one, and I was like, oh, so you can make it sound the way it's supposed to. And it was off to the races from there. Yeah. So mine's pretty low key. It sounds really good and it's quick. It's not fast, but it's quick for what it is. Just a 107 with a Cyclorama 483 cam in it and a 2-in-1 Chromeworks exhaust, and it sounds pretty good. Let's just say my neighbors don't appreciate me very much when I started up on the way to work. But
like I said, we hear you before we see you, and
That's safety.
Oh yeah, loud pipes save lives, man. Hey, we're just looking out for each other, and
whatever helps us feel better about our bikes being loud, right?
Oh man, it is just this whole biking community, man. Whether it's Wolverine, like you said, or bike night, there's just something about it. You get together and you don't even know the people, but by the time you leave bike night, man, you just made like 10, 15, 20 friends. It's like you said, you'll walk up, see a bike similar to yours. Next thing you know, it's like, hey, man, what'd you do? And you just said it too. It's like someone will say, oh, I did this, this, and this. It's like, well, wait a minute. I didn't know you could do that. And see, that's another good thing with Wolverine and, the expertise that you guys have is some people that I've talked to who've gone to other dealerships. I'll never, ever diss another dealership who's trying to help people, but they just have their own methods, whatever. That's up to them. But with all of you guys, it's like you're not going to throw surprises at them or keep information from them because of maybe not making a sale or whatever it may be. Whatever the options are, they know everything. You walk them through it, and it's just this. It's such a good experience, man. I've talked to so many people when they come back after detailing when we're back there. And, we see who sold the bikes on the tags. And so we'll talk to the people, and they'll be talking to us about their sales, people and all that. And, the feedback on all you guys is just, it's incredible, man. It's such a positive work environment for all of us, but it reflects on all the customers who turn into family. They come back. I've had people, come into the bay. They'll see us back there. And I go, hey, what's wrong? Nothing. Beautiful day out riding. Wanted to see, this is where my born day happened with this bike. I wanted to come out here and see you guys, and just to stop in and say hi. It's just it's such a cool feeling, just when I first started telling people where I work, and like you said, yeah, can you take this brand new Evo or CVO? Yes, I can. And yes, I will. And and another thing too about each department, I always talk about, like you said, you guys, and the one thing, and you see it all the time. Some people hear Harley Davidson, and they're like, shit, that's no way. I can't afford it without even knowing anything about it. And it gets very intimidating money wise. And you just said it. You buy yourself a bike, but you can't put insurance. You can't do this. And you work with with Ben and Mario and everyone there. Maybe let people know as far as their financing how easy it is and what to expect, because some people are pretty intimidated about what their options are. what are some of their options coming in with financing?
Sure. So the way we tend to kind of structure our system is we make a point to not run credit without showing you some sort of numbers first. So that way we know we're in the ballpark. Because obviously, especially folks that have worked really hard to maintain and upkeep their credit, having that hard pull taken on your credit is something you take very seriously. So if you're not serious about buying the bike, you don't want to take that hit. And we completely understand that. So we show you what we call a pencil, which is basically the breakdown of all numbers, what your out the door price is. We give you some estimated payments based on an average interest rate, shorter term, a little higher down payment, et cetera. And then from there, we take a credit application, and we have obviously Harley Davidson Financial through Eagle Mark Savings. And then we work with a bunch of local credit unions doing indirect lending through them as well. So we handle that entire process for you. If you decide to go through a local credit union that we do business with already, you can take a credit application with us. Let's say, like myself, I do a lot of my loans through Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union, who we work directly with. So we take a credit application. You can say, hey, Doc, I already have an existing relationship with Michigan Schools and Government. I only want my application to go there. And that's the only place we'll send it. Vice versa, if you want me to try a couple of different banks and have them compete for your business and give you the best rate and the best term and best down payment option, et cetera, we'll do that as well. But we do our best to never be pushy as far as the finances are concerned. We all work extremely hard for our money. And when you're coming into a Harley Davidson dealership in the state of Michigan, where we can ride all of about 10 minutes a year, worked really hard for your money, and we appreciate you bringing your business to us, and we want to continue to earn your business. So we try to be as respectful as we can as far as that's concerned, and make sure all of our ducks are in a row, and then make sure all your ducks are in a row before we do anything that can compromise your credit score or anything along those lines.
Yeah, that thing is so cool too, because like I said, besides just being on a Harley, being on a bike, if you've never been on one, you get, I mean, there's so many things just from the start they are a little intimidating, just walking in, man. And you see all these people walking around with their leathers on, and, these men and women who have been riding for years. And here you come walking in, never ridden before. It's intimidating. And then, like I said, the finance part and all that, and each separate department with the expertise and the attitude is just top notch, man. And like I had people talking about, everyone from our apparel, our clothing. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, it is cool as could be, but it's not it. It's not just a look. I said, there's a lot that goes behind those jackets, those gloves, the helmet, the boots, the chaps. So besides looking good, man, it's freaking safety. And and our sales staff in apparel and clothing, man, they are all incredible over there when it comes to the right fit for a helmet. I mean, yeah, the gloves, the armor. Why don't you tell some people about that too, man? Because some of them walk in, they might not know. Okay, I'm going to buy this bike and then walk out. I mean, you guys, know as far as, well, what do you have, for safety besides a helmet? And some don't even have that. But I mean, what do you look for to tell these people as far as like, what are the important things about sizing? Like, is there a big deal if my jacket's just a little bit too big, or if my helmet, it's a little too tight, so I want it looser? What are some of the things and reasons why you guys fit them the way you do?
Sure. Well, to circle back to that, anytime you buy a motorcycle with us, we send you on what we call the family tour. And the family tour is when you sign and say, yes, I'm going to buy this motorcycle. Before you go into the finance office, we take you to every single department. We give you a number of free trinkets and toys and cleaning products and the t-shirt and high five and everything else. But in that tour, you get to go to the parts counter. You get to go to our motor clothes department, which is where you'll find all of your safety gear, your helmet, your jacket, your gloves, chaps, riding pants, etc., and then back to service. In that family tour, as long as financing allows, a lot of times you can include your safety equipment in your bike deal. So if you
didn't know that.
Are coming in, you're buying your first motorcycle, and you need a helmet, a jacket, gloves, so on and so forth, a lot of times we can roll that into the deal. We can get everything taken care of all at once.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had no idea. I did not know. See that? Now I've got something to tell people too when I'm out and about and not knowing shit. Like, I don't know. No, but no. So I mean that can go right in there. They tell you, Doc, I have nothing, and now you're going to set them up to, because I've had some people say, well, it doesn't matter, what jacket, or it doesn't matter, which boots, the one, you see some of the people with these real short, the fashion ones over the durability riding ones. And there's a reason, and it's safety, the higher, because of, the pipes and burning and all that. What are some safety tips that you think that people, as far as fit wise, that are the most important is looking at, as far as like the helmets and all the gear?
Sure. The best riding attire is definitely your finest pair of jorts and your most fashionable pair of Crocs, put in sport mode, of course. You want to make sure you take the strap and put it in the back while you're riding, just to make sure they don't fly off. I'm teasing, of course. No, as far as the
right now, people are going, I knew it. I see, we can do that. And right now they're going, ha ha. And now they're about to be like, oh, he was screwing with us.
Obviously, if you're in the place where you can buy a motorcycle, you're an adult, you can make your own decisions. But the saying that we all try to go by is dress for the slide, not the ride. Nobody ever plans to go down. Obviously, we all do our best to avoid it, but you hate to say it, pretty much every motorcyclist you talk to who's been riding for a while has gone down at some point. And I think all of us, myself included, have had experiences where gear saved us, or at least made the experience far less traumatic. Thing that kind of coincides with that is all motorcyclists, I don't care what you say, we're all extremely vain. We all want to look really cool on our bike. And a lot of times wearing a bright neon green vest and a big neon full face helmet, making sure everybody can see us, is not the sexiest thing alive when you're on your brand new Harley, right? But Harley does a really nice job of making some very nice looking, very fashionable accessories that are also very safe. As far as fitment of things, jacket size is one thing. If you're planning to put on a little weight like myself, if you got a baby on the way, putting on that sympathy weight, you might want to buy a jacket that's one size up. Learn that the hard way. I'm outgrowing my jackets at this point. But the big thing, especially for your helmet, is making sure that your helmet fits properly, especially if you wear a full face or a modular helmet, or a helmet that covers your entire face. Making sure that fitment is appropriate is very important. A helmet that is far too tight is going to cause a lot of fatigue and give you a headache. And that's going to distract from your ability to be vigilant and ride. If you're thinking, oh my God, my head hurts, I just want to stop. It's going to keep you from wanting to ride longer and gaining experience. And it's also just going to be generally unsafe because you're going to be distracted by how bad your head hurts. In the adverse, if you have a helmet that is too big and you get into a collision, that helmet's not doing what it's supposed to. So finding that happy medium is very important. One of the things that I took away from my days playing football eons ago is, if you remember, Manny, I know you played ball at some point in your life, but when you put your football helmet on and they pump the thing up, the coach would grab your face mask and have you shake your head no. And there should be just enough play in the inside of the helmet to where you have a little bit of movement, but not too much. If you're able to go a full 45 degrees inside your helmet, the helmet's too big. So we have an extremely talented group of folks over in the motor clothes department that are trained in that can make sure the helmet fits you the way it's supposed to. The other thing that a lot of people don't think about is the age of your helmet. Most ratings, as far as your DOT, I'm not sure if they carry the same standard, but I know Snell and a couple of the other safety ratings state that the helmet loses that certification after a given number of years. I think most of the time it's every 5 years. So if you've got a helmet from 2005 that you're still rocking on your bike, you probably need to look for a different one because it's probably not doing a whole lot. Because all of those safety materials that are built to absorb impact and keep that impact from hitting your noggin, they break down over time. They get hard and they stop doing what they're supposed to. So if you get in an accident with a helmet that's very old and that material is worn away, it's virtually the same as not wearing a helmet. So it's very important to make sure. And obviously, I know that sounds like, oh, okay, Doc, you work at the Harley dealership, you're trying to sell helmets. Of course, I need to trade in my helmet every 5 years. That is a legit. I know.
No,
whether you Harley helmet or a different helmet. There's a ton of great helmets out there. Obviously, the Harley helmets are great. I know a lot of them are co-developments with Scorpion and HJC. And I think there's a couple of other ones that are essentially branded Harley Davidson helmets, but Harley doesn't make their own helmets. They outsource that. But there's a ton of great helmet manufacturers out there. If you don't come to Harley Davidson, I know there's a Cycle Gear down in Novi. If you're in the greater Detroit area. And they carry a really nice assortment of helmets that you can try on to see what fits. Full face helmets in particular are there's different head sizes that are head shapes. There's like true round, more long ovular, more wide set, and different helmets are set up to fit different head types differently. So because you wear a medium in one helmet, you may go to a different brand and it fits completely different because the helmet's not built for your head. We're all trying to look cool on our bikes, but safety is very important.
I was just gonna say, man, and it's that cool factor. It's like I remember when I first started riding, it was 20 some years ago, and this was a long time. They called it the Rider's Edge course back then. And I took the course and I didn't have a helmet, and I knew nothing. I thought the course, they'd have them there for you. And I showed up and no, you got to buy one. Well, I'm seeing all these guys on the road with these little like peanut shells and all that. Like, yeah, you know what? They look pretty cool. And not, like I said, not knowing. This was my first time. So I walk in to the dealership and I'm looking around. I'm like, where are those helmets at? All I'm seeing are these. And they're like, well, these are DOT. Those are novelty helmets. I was like, well, I want one of those. And then they're like, here, try this one. And they did that too. They put it on. They're doing this thing. I'm like, oh, okay, feels kind of good. They go, what do you think? And I looked in the mirror. I was like, what the hell? I look like freaking Darth Vader, man. Spaceballs. What the hell is this? And I'm like, cool factor, no. And I was like, you're trying to do that look. It's like, I'm gonna have to take this off and beat my own ass. This is not working. And I was like, where are those helmets that those guys have? And they're like, well, that's illegal. And I was like, oh. But now they got the skid lids and all that. So I mean, you look at all the different kind of helmets. But yeah, when I saw that thing, like at first I thought it was Spaceballs. Darth was like, man, those things are huge. But it just then too, you're going with all the different styles, like you just said, full face to, what are the advantages, disadvantages of some of the helmets and why? I mean, what would you suggest for that?
Sure. So the really four main types. So you have your half shell, which is very similar to a ball hat, comes above your ears, sits on top of your head with a strap. You have a 3/4 helmet, which is exactly what it sounds like. It has a little piece. I'm all turned around because I got mirror vision on this screen, so I'm turning my head and I don't know which direction I'm going.
It's going left is right,
but it essentially, I know I got a left, right. Anyway, so the 3/4 helmet leaves your face exposed, but does come down and cover your ears and wrap around the backside of your head. And then there are two types of full face helmets. There is a fixed full face helmet, meaning the front, once you put it on, it's on. And then there is what's called a modular helmet, which is a full face helmet with a little release, and the entire front piece will lift up, then exposing you the same as a 3/4 helmet. Of course, we hate to hear it. Listen, I wear a half shell, and it says DOT on the back, but I'm a little suspect. It looks like somebody wrote DOT in crayon, but
I think we all got those stickers.
I'm not going to say that on air. Anyway, allegedly they sell them on Amazon, but don't buy those. But I also have a really nice full face helmet that I wear that has a communication system in them. Especially if you're on a bike that doesn't have a stereo. If you wear a full face helmet, there are Bluetooth communication devices that also allow you to listen to music and Bluetooth music to your helmet, which is really neat if you're on something like a Softail or a Sportster or even a Road King, something that doesn't have a built-in stereo. Or if you're somebody that has a bike with a built-in stereo, but you don't like to be the focal point at every traffic light listening to 50 Cent at full volume. If you want to keep your music to yourself a little more, that's also a great option. Little personal anecdote, despite wearing a half shell most of the time, I did have an incident early in my riding career where a full face helmet very likely saved my life. I was on my buddy's bike, which, my God, the worst experience ever. My buddy and I had just bought bikes. We wanted to switch because my bike was set up for 2-up riding. His wasn't. He wanted to bring his girlfriend along. I'm like, cool, we'll just switch bikes. I'll ride yours, you ride mine. He's like, cool, sounds great. So we're tearing it up down in Ohio, where I'm from. And we come up out in the countryside. We crest a hill. And usually if there's a sharp turn on the other side of a hill, there is some sort of a sign that says, you know, yellow triangle, curve ahead, suggested speed limit, X amount of miles an hour. Well, there was no sign. So I came up over the hill doing slightly over the speed limit and went straight into a cornfield. Went straight into a field. When I hit the cornfield, front tire of the bike sunk into the field because it was wet, and I went right over top of the handlebars. And that I was wearing an armored jacket and I was wearing a full face helmet, and it broke the visor on my helmet. It cracked the piece that goes in front of your mouth. I still have the helmet in my garage. I kept it as a keepsake. I hang it on the wall so I remember not to be an idiot while I'm riding. But looking at that helmet, you go, if that would have been my face, I would probably either be severely injured or I may not be here anymore. So it really takes one instance like that to really wake you up. And, you know, the hope is that you don't have an experience like that, of course, and you exercise safety and you don't ride beyond your means. But listen, we're all knuckleheads. We all get the itch to twist the throttle and see what it'll do. And sometimes we put ourselves in a bad position and things happen. And if things are going to happen, it's better to be prepared and wear the appropriate things, dress for the slide, not the ride, than it is to be unprepared, no lid, jean shorts, Crocs, you know, tank top, and then you get thrown into a cornfield and you're beat all to hell and back. So things to keep in mind. There's a balance of looking cool, but also being safe.
Yeah, you could look cool for the moment, but you're dead forever. And, you know, you nailed it too, Doc, because when I first started riding, I was riding with guys who've been riding a long time. And it pretty much said what you said. We were all together, and we had this one buddy who he was one of those guys where if you had this, he had two that were better, and if you had two of that, he had four. I mean, he was just that pain in the ass. And we were talking about riding beyond your means and safety, and screw that, man. And you know, my riding ability is, I feel so confident with, even looking out for others. I'm not worried. And it's like, you know, I'm not riding next to this idiot. And this one, the Patch, he goes, you know what? This guy's been riding 40 plus years. You know, I'm telling you right now. And he said, if you're riding, there's a saying, it's not if you've gone down, it's when you're gone, when you go down. And it's, you ride long enough, it's going to happen. Like you know, I've had one experience, and thank God we're both here. And, you know, people's choices, they're their choices. You know, definitely what we suggest and what you suggest is paramount. That's one thing about Wolverine, man. It's safety. It's safety. And but I didn't know about that that wreck for you, man. How long ago was that?
Gosh, I started riding. I'm relatively recent in motorcycling. I'm 29 years old. I started riding when I was 19, 20. Bought myself a motorcycle as a graduation present from college, and my mom still hates me for it. And now I've made a whole career out of it, so she's exceptionally pissed. But,
well, what could happen? It's not like having to go into a cornfield. You know, geez, what are the chances of that happening? You know,
I hope she's not listening to this, because I don't think she knows that happened. I'm gonna get a text here in a minute. She's gonna be like, "You did what?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was back in 2019. Don't worry about that."
Yeah, no, Doc. See, right about now, my friends are going, "Doc, don't worry about it. This is Manny's show. No one's watching." So, you know. But,
oh
yeah,
man,
it's just
no,
like sometimes
it happens.
Yeah,
you know?
it does. And you know, and like you said, though, we have our moments, and but being prepared, and that's one thing too about Harley, man. I mean, say what you want about the price, say what you want. You know, does it look cool? Yeah, but is it well quality? It save your ass, you know, made? Yeah. And But I'm still just thinking of when you said we all do stupid things. As soon as you said that, my slideshow just started going. It was like, holy shit. I'm still, thanks a lot, Doc. Now I'm just like, and I'm still on like 16 of all the stupid things I've done in life.
Almost died. You're like,
oh God. Yeah. Well, you saw the one show, so yeah. But it's just and the thing is too, you know what? When it comes to bikes, when I started riding, I was a late bloomer, man. I didn't start riding until I was like 28 or something like that. All my friends were riding since they were like 16, and hearing them, they were like, "Oh my God, the feeling on this bike and this." And I was like, "You guys sound like you're in a cult." It's like, "Oh, this experience." And one night we were at this buddy of mine's house, and he had all this land, and he had a couple bikes, and one was an anniversary Fat Boy, and he's like, "Just get on it, man, and just go right around here, just first gear, just doing this, whatever." And that was it. And it's like the following week, I went into the Rider's Edge course at Harley. It was like 2 weeks later, I was getting every penny that I could, however I could. And I got that Fat Boy. And my first couple years, I'd never put my bike away. It's just always, there's no riding season, it's just like you cover it up and put the tender on. And, but my first couple of years, I mean, if there wasn't snow on the ground and if it wasn't icy, I mean, I rode, man. And there's people that, and, that, when you hear them saying, that the riding season's over, well, yeah, for normal people, but bikers aren't normal. I mean, we tend to, travel, our own little lane here. And it's such a neat fraternity that we're part of. And just as we've said, as people have said to me, what's so special with Wolverine, man? Big deal. You're just going by the bike, and you just we just hit on so many of them that it's more than a sale. I mean, like you said, man, you just love what you're doing because and it shows. It reflects when these people come in and they hear you. It's not you going, welcome to Harley. I'm Doc. How much money you got? It's real sincere. What's your please don't mind. But it just reflects in how you guys and everyone at Wolverine. And I've said it before this show with you many times, like different events, as you can see it. You can see it at the events. George and what he's done instilled in all of us there. And it trickles down through all of us and right to our customers. And that's what I can't remember the exact words because I know with the service department, we were #1 in the district a few months back when I did that one video. Mm-hmm. And Friday at the meeting, what was it about? We're #1 Googled. What do you remember that when he was talking about Wolverine? The most.
Yeah.
What was it?
We are the highest Google reviewed dealership in the world.
In the world.
And that's not an over-exaggeration. We hold a 4.9 star average with almost 3,000 reviews. There is a very close second who also has 4.9 stars, but they're only at about 900 reviews. So in the span of almost 3,000 reviews and almost, my gosh, we're coming up on 23 years in business. We've managed to hold a 4.9 star average across the board. And those reviews come in from all departments. That comes from Motor Clothes, it comes from sales, it comes from our Riding Academy, our service department, across the board. So we're very proud of that. If you've never had the chance to come out to the dealership, first and foremost, please do come out and see us. We'd love to show you around. But when you do, you'll see, because we try and take everybody on a facility tour because we're very proud of where we work. But all across the building, we post our latest Google reviews in big poster boards all over the dealership because we want you to see what our customers are saying about us. We're extremely proud of it. We take our customer interactions very seriously. We don't just want to sell you one bike and you never see it again. We want you to come back. We want you to come to our events. We want you to send us pictures of what you do with your motorcycle. We want you to do service with us. We want you to consider us for parts, service, motor clothes, everything in between. And that's why we take such care when dealing with customers, especially people that have never been to the dealership before. Because we want you to come back, even if it's a drive, even if it's an hour and 20-minute drive, and you have to do it every single day.
I don't know anyone that would do that.
Because it's worth it. It really is. It's a cool place.
It really is. And, and you nailed it too,
some
man.
Psychopath. Gee, man.
But, and that's just it, man. And people are like, yeah, they're just saying it. And you nailed it, man. Come on out. Don't just listen to us and think it's just this scripted thing that we're throwing at you. Everything that we talked about and discussed, you can back it up. Come to the dealership. We're at 44660 Gratiot Avenue in Clinton Township on north. It's just south of Hall Road on M50, which is M59. Every Saturday, we've got different events. We just had one last Saturday, bikes, hot rods, and Cubans. Which, when I was telling people about that, they're like, I got 2 out of 3. What? What? And it was like cigars. We venture out
to put cigars in marketing material.
Exactly. It was like no. So we just But as far as the events, before that we had Dave from Letterfly Pinstriping. Before that, I mean, just to bring more community and family and all these people coming out, and just like this Saturday, let people know what's going on this Saturday, Doc.
Yeah, so we've got a handful of things coming up. So first and foremost, at the end of August, so all summer we're open on Sundays. We're open Tuesday through Sunday. Hours vary, but starting in September, starting September 1st, we will not be open on Sundays. So this past Sunday was the last Sunday until next summer. So we'll be there from 10 to 6 Monday through Friday and 10 to 5 on Saturday. This coming Saturday, we have a free service workshop. We're offering free bike inspections. Before you put the bike away for the winter, if you want us to look over it for you, it's completely free of charge. We throw it up on the lift, give you some service items that may need immediate attention or things that you may want to wait until the spring to tackle if it's a financial obligation, etc. And it's also free T-Clocks lessons. I should be able to tell you what the acronym T-Clock stands for, but I cannot. But what I can tell you is that it is essentially your pre-ride inspection. So before you ride your motorcycle, in theory, you should go all the way around it and make sure it's safe, because it's not like a car. If something is mechanically the matter, it can be detrimental to your safety. So, checking your tire pressure, making sure there's no fluid leaks, checking brake pads, checking oil levels, all the necessary things. So we're going to be teaching folks how to do that as well. So that is this Saturday, 8:31, and that'll be an all-day event from 10 to 5. Moving on to next month on September 14th. This is a Saturday as well. We're going to be participating in the nationwide Harley Davidson open house. So that's going to be an event put on by Harley Davidson in conjunction with all of their dealer network. So there's going to be free test rides. I'm assuming we'll have some food and drinks out that way. But that'll be an all-day event, free test rides. We keep typically pretty close to one of every new model, either in demo status, ready to ride, or every single bike on our showroom floor is prepped, battery in it, fluids in it, ready to rock. You can walk up to any bike in our showroom, turn the ignition, and it'll fire up. And we encourage you to go out and ride any bike in our showroom. If it's something you're just even remotely curious about, come by, take it for a ride. We'd be more than happy to take you out. We're always looking for excuses to go for rides because they don't let us leave. So any chance we get to go on a test ride, we're always very excited. So that, again, that is 9/14. That's the Harley Davidson open house. That's September 14th. And then the last event of September is going to be on the 28th, and that's going to be our fall swap meet. We are currently accepting, if you would like to reserve a booth spot to come in and sell, just call up to the dealership at 586-463-7700 and let the ladies at the front desk know that you'd like to reserve a spot for the fall swap meet. We can get you taken care of. I believe it's $30 a spot. And all proceeds that we take in for you reserving your spot all go directly to the Rainbow Connection for Kids. So that's a youth charity that helps underprivileged youth in the surrounding area, provides resources for them, so on and so forth. It's a really cool organization we've done a lot of work with and we're very proud of. So every proceed that we get from the fall swap meet will go to them. And we hope to see you out there. It'll be a really fun event. Test rides there as well. Test rides every single day. And I think that's all I have. I haven't looked at October yet. I'm not sure if it's up, but I'm sure this won't be the last time I'm on here. So I'll have updates.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're going to be around. And you know what? With my vast knowledge of motorcycles, the terminology and everything, something just popped into my head, which is tires, controls, lights, oil, chassis, and kickstand. T-clock.
There you go. Did you Google it or did you know that?
Yeah.
So what is it again?
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
That's what I was
there you
like,
go. Very good.
Yeah, tires, controls, lights, oil, chassis, kickstand. Yeah. Right now, people are going, yeah. Welcome to live TV. Then.
I think we've kept it pretty alive. I think we're doing all right.
Are you kidding, man?
Not
This is I love doing this, man. And like I said, Doc, I really appreciate you coming on. And just going through all those events, man, it just shows you it's more than just making a sale. It's more than just dollars and cents. It's community, it's family, it's these events, it's safety, it's it's giving back, it's all these things. And what is that? That's George. That's George De La Nuez, and that's all of us at Wolverine. And that's what's instilled through all of our meetings as well. And so it makes it that much easier for what we do.
For sure. We're beyond blessed. And I know I don't just speak for myself, but I think everybody that works there would agree. We're so fortunate to have the opportunity to work in a place like Wolverine. And if George is listening, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. We're extremely grateful. I tell him every chance I can. I can't believe I get to make a living selling Harleys. It feels like a dream. But it's super cool. We've got a really great leadership staff. Prior to becoming what we call an ASM, assistant sales manager, I worked under Dan, who is now the other assistant sales manager. And he's been there for over 12 years. He's a wealth of knowledge, extremely talented rider. And he's also a certified mechanic before he came into sales. So he's actually extremely technologically savvy and mechanically savvy. He knows an awful lot about these bikes. He knows a lot more than I do. So he's a great resource for folks that have some more technical questions. And our entire sales staff, we've got folks that range from, I think, Matt Phillips, who's one of our fit specialists, started riding in 2021 or 2022. He bought his first bike from us and started working for us pretty directly thereafter.
Yep.
All the way up to, guys that have been riding for, I think, guys like Shaggy and George and all them, they've been riding for the better part of 20, 30 years. So you really get a spectrum. I mean, it's not like you're going to come into the dealership and you're only going to meet guys that put on 12,000 miles a year. Harley has a place for everybody. Don't think that because you're not planning to make it your daily commuter that you're not a biker. If you put 500 miles a year on your bike or you put 50,000 miles a year on your bike, you're equally a biker as long as you're on two wheels and you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, that's just it too, man. That is another difference with the Wolverine is, if it's sales, people will think, oh, they just know to say this, say that, make the sale, and it's done. No, man. Well, you just rattled off like with your bike and different things and the mechanical parts and all that. You share that with your customer and they hear you and they hear the knowledge that you are, telling them about, your bike and stuff they can do with their bike as sales. And then it just carries over to parts. It carries over to service. And then it carries over, throughout every department where it just increases to that specialty. And so it is more than that. And that's, like I said, that's what makes us, special. It makes us family. And so like I said, Doc, I really, really appreciate you coming on. And you're right. You are definitely, we'll be doing this, quite a bit, whether it's talking about, events, whether it's talking about, sales, different, things that we are incentives, whatever it may be. And we'll definitely do that. But first and foremost, man, thank you so much for coming on.
Dude, it's been a pleasure. Before I go, we are doing an early bird special through the service department for winter storage. So Dave Nagy, our service director, is kind of heading that up, but Jesse or Jeff in the service department can also take care of you on that. If you're trying to get in the door early to get your bike put in for winter storage, complimentary service, detailed on the way in, detailed on the way out, kept in a climate controlled facility, and battery tendered the entire time. So it's a great time to get in on that and save a little bit of money. Trying to think of anything else we got going on. I'll think of it as soon as we get off here. That's what'll happen.
Hey, well, that's okay,
yeah,
man. I know.
If
I
you
know
guys are
you
available
work.
while the weather's still good, come out and see us.
Most
right,
man. Yeah.
Did we have any questions that came through while we were on here?
No.
We just a lot of the just the friendly hi, how you doing stuff and all that. But as far as the technical stuff, no, not too much. But I will go through those afterwards. And when we come on again, we'll go through as far as maybe that's another thing we could do. Is we'll have a show, and it'll be for people who maybe are looking for specifics, like you said, cams or this or that, or what would be the best suggestion that you have for if you want more speed, if you want more sound, if you want more performance, what are the options? We could do a promo for that and just do just get the gearheads on here and just start sharing some ideas. So the possibilities are endless, and the thing is, we'll do them all. So
absolutely.
But until then, man, you get some rest because, well, shoot, man, I gotta get some rest too. I gotta try. Doc, I'm glad you're sitting down because just so you know, I have to get up tomorrow, and I've got almost a little over a 15-minute drive to work. So I hope you understand how I've got to get my rest.
Get your beauty sleep.
Yeah,
make sure you get to bed early then.
Yeah, well, the beauty sleep.
We're almost at 9:40. It's way past my bedtime.
I'm telling you.
Well,
all right, brother.
Get to sleeping then, pal. You got some work to make up.
Beauty is not the same sentence with this dude. All right, man. Well, I love you, brother, and thank you so much. And
thank you for having me on, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Hey, I'll see you in the morning. All right,
I'll see you in the morning.
All right. Have a good night, man. I'll see you.
You too.
And there you have it. There was a bit of a the delay with all that, but well, I hope you enjoyed that. Was Doc? I tell you what, I've as soon as I started there, getting to know people, see that, Doc? You got a fan club, man. Heidi, thanks, Doc. I can't believe no one chimed in with "What's up, Doc?" Come on now, come on now. But seriously, man, thank you, Doc. I appreciate it, brother. And like I said, he's a wealth of knowledge, along with every person, the sales staff, and every department, whether it's sales, whether it's finance, whether it's the parts department, whether it's clothing and apparel, service, the bay, everything, detailing. Nothing is looked at like, well, it's this department, but then it's all a team, it's all family, and that's the way we treat each other, and that's the way that it is at Wolverine. And if you don't believe us, come on in and check it out. It's like Doc said, the proof's right there. Come in, check out the facility. It's beautiful. Check out the den, the den upstairs. It's just gorgeous for a meeting place, hang out, talk some, tell some stories, and then some. So, all right. Well, you guys have a great night. And as I said, we will definitely be doing this again. And you take care. And let's see, anything else thing? Well, yeah, we didn't say her. And let's see. We'll wait till you sit down. And we'll get OG. Give OG her props.
Yeah, that's right.
There's OG. There you go. So we had OG, we had Susie the Wonder Dog laying under here biting on my foot. We had Doc, the assistant sales manager at Wolverine, and me. Hey. So, anyways, thanks again, man. And Doc, I'll see you in the morning. And the rest of you have a good one and keep fighting a good fight.